Hello everyone. Are we hearing me now? I had some technical issues and I had to restart everything. So I think I'm department heads about some of it. And the department head, which was going to get one of these huge grants, hadn't heard of any of this work that was going to go on with his department with a grant, and asked Phil to send him the article about it so he could read about it. So, I spoke about this. Well, the city doesn't want to move the courthouse outside of Conyers. Well, does that really matter? 70% of the county's population is outside the city. Doesn't that 70% of the population have more of a say of what happens in the county than the city? The city, at one time, many, many years ago, was the biggest portion. Uh, what sewer capacity that the county does have. So if we talk about we want to have additional business and those things come in to Rockdale County, we've only got a limited area of place that can come in, and if the city keeps consuming the capacity of the sewer capabilities, then there's no way we can bring anything additional in that would require significant sewer capabilities. So we've got to, think in Rockdale, do we want to continue this high density housing in the city area? What is our strategic plan? What is our housing plan for Rockdale and Conyers moving forward? Do we actually have a plan? I had spoke to some people who are in that sort of array planning and zoning and such. And they say, you look at what Rockdale has, they don't actually have a strategic plan. They don't have a real grasp on what they want to do moving forward. It's like a wish and a prayer. Steve Mackey says the sooner we have 5-member county commission, the sooner we can get things done right. And I agree with you, Steve. As soon as that starts and we can have a 5-person commission, then Rockdale County will be on the path to doing things right. Also, in this meeting I had with a group of Rockdale County citizens, and like I said, former county employees and department heads and such, the consensus in the room was that the 3 commissioners have their own agenda. They don't really care what the citizens or the majority of the population wants. It's they want to impose their agenda on the citizens of Rockdale County. And even the folks in the room said there's probably the reasoning is that those individuals have personal gain that they can acquire by their agendas being accomplished. One of the candidates that's running for commissioner here in the next election, Efat Walker's been putting things out on social media and stuff, exposing Doreen Williams as operating an illegal nonprofit in Rockdale County because she had not followed the proper paperwork, the proper licensing, and yet she had a contract with the county and getting funds for this nonprofit, and people didn't know she was actually the founder and the CEO of the nonprofit. So we're going to have Efat Walker on the show December the 5th, and it'll be our first political candidate that we're going to have on the show concerning next season's primaries. And I think it's going to be interesting to get candidate Walker's take on Rockdale County, what she sees as what her vision would be for Rockdale County as a member of the Rockdale County Board of Commission, and how she would work with the 2 remaining members if she would be elected. And hopefully at that point we will have the 5-member board, and those elections will take place this spring, and we'll end up having next January we'll have a 5-person board, and that board will be a more diverse board, and hopefully it'll be a board that is elected by districts. And when you talk to people in Rockdale County, it's this sentiment that comes across is, we want a commissioner that represents us, that lives in our neighborhood, that lives in our community. And, that's very important. But I think that goes across the board. We talked in the meeting the other day about, We look at Rockdale County and the Board of Commission now, and we look at the employees, the bureaucratic employees, that the majority of them that are decision makers don't actually live in Rockdale County. That we have, the very few of the hierarchy that live in Rockdale County. And we always talk about local control. And when people are making decisions, policy decisions and tax decisions for a community, and they don't actually live in that community, it's easy for them to make what they call the hard decisions of raising your taxes and implementing policy that the citizens don't like when it doesn't impact you or your neighbors. The school board is another prime example. The bureaucratic members of the school board, the school superintendent himself does not live in the county. So it's easy for him to make decisions that are unpopular with uh, the parents and the taxpayers of Rockdale County because he doesn't live in the community. I'm actually going to do an ORR this week, and I'm going to ask the Board of Education of their assistant superintendents and their department heads that they have that are civilian employees, non-elected employees, how many of them actually are Rockdale County residents? Because we talk all the time about education and local control. And when we look at the Board of Commission and our county government and local control, if none of the people who are actually running everything behind the scenes lives in that community, you truly do not have local control. And I believe that's something we have to get a grasp on as as a community, as an electorate, that we demand our elected officials hire people who live in our community. And if they hire somebody that doesn't live in our community, we have a requirement within 6 months. If you want to maintain this position, you must relocate to this county. And then they say, well, that's not fair. You're going to restrict who you can get. We can't retain people. Well, Rockdale County Board of Commissions stated a few years ago that they were low pay. They couldn't retain people because of the pay. They're one of the highest paid uh, counties now as far as these department heads in the area, and they can't contain it. They can't retain anybody. Uh, uh, you know, um, what Bill Campbell says, also ask where are they spending the SPLOS money. Uh, and then Catherine Lynn, you're exactly right, and that's the point. People who don't live here have no skin in the game, and if you don't have skin in the game, then you shouldn't be a player on the field. You shouldn't be making decisions for me that impact my life when they don't impact your life. Um, let's see here. I believe that this coming year, we need to really look at what we're doing. We need to look at the SPLOS this year because it's going to be on the ballot. And I think they're going along as usual, planning this SPLOS that we're going to do all this nonsense. And they don't think that us, the voters, will do anything about it. They think we'll just go in, click yes, and it'll be another day as usual. Well, I got something for them. I'm not going to vote yes for the upcoming SPLOS, and I'm actually going to lead an effort to defeat this upcoming SPLOS because I think they need to feel some pain, do without that money for a little while, just like we feel pain as taxpayers when they raise our taxes continuously and we get little in return. So I think it's time for us to say, hey, we want actual input because you've got 3 or 4 guys who've been in charge of that SPLOS for decades. And that's why you've got the same results going on because you've got the same 3 or 4 yes guys who've been in charge of that SPLOS, and it's time those individuals go away. They don't need to be in charge of the SPLOS all the time and do the exact same thing. It's time for the citizens of Rockdale County to say enough is enough. You have squandered the SPLOS funds, enough cycles. Let's go ahead and do a defeat this thing so you realize we want you to come back to the drawing board and talk to us about it. Don't submit something to the board. Submit it to the citizens of Rockdale County. Is this what you want us to do with your penny tax? Is this what you'd like us to do? And we just passed an E-Splosh last year. But when that E-Splosh comes back up on for reelection, I would say we don't approve that E-Splosh unless the Board of Education establishes a citizens oversight committee to oversee those funds. Because as it is now, the bureaucrats that are in those positions within the board are the individuals that control the SPLOST fund, the E-Splosh. And that should be a citizens oversight committee determining how those dollars are spent. We need more local control. We need more citizens in charge of things in this county. We need more people who actually live in Rockdale County being employed by the Board of Education and the Board of Commission in high ranking positions. We need oversight. We need competent oversight by officials, not just your buddies. And I'm, leaning toward the thing. I don't think that the Board of Commission or Board of Education need to appoint these individuals. I think the Superior Court judge does. I think these things need to go through the judicial so they will have a fairer chance of people who are qualified and who would serve the community and not owe favors to members of the Board of Commission or the Board of Education. It's time to do things differently. What we are doing is not working. You can look at the educational results in Rockdale County and you can say it's not working. Education has been on a steep decline in Rockdale County for a very long time. Rockdale County economic development has been a joke in Rockdale County for a very long time. Planning and zoning, a joke in Rockdale County for a very long time. Rockdale County has too many parks. We focus on parks and recreation entirely too much. We do not need to do that. We need to focus on issues the citizens are concerned about. And the only way to truly find out what the citizens are concerned about are actually meet with citizens. And when they do come to the Board of Commission meetings and they talk to you about what they would like to see, and then when you get these responses, well, we're working on stuff like that. We really can't talk to you about it because it'll let the cat out the bag. Well, you know what? The cat don't need to be in the bag so much because when you take the cat, put it in a bag, you can smother it. I mean, come on, you kill the cat. Quit killing the cat. Let the cat out the bag. Quit smothering the cat. That's what they're doing. They're smothering the cat. So what we need to do, we need to take our government back, take our county back. How do we do that? We do that by not electing the same clowns over and over again. You got to change public officials like you do your underwear and your socks every day. You've got to put different people in there and come with different ideas. And you let them know if you don't listen to us, we're going to vote you out. You've got to vote them out. We've got to realize that our vote matters and we matter as citizens. I noticed this week that there was a lawsuit that was brought by Kenny Johnson, who was an elected member of the Rockdale County Soil and Conservation Board. And Kenny had sued that board because they were meeting virtually during the COVID crisis. And then they started meeting in person, and Kenny refused to meet in person with the rest of the board. So the rest of the board met. They voted new leadership in, and Mr. Johnson continued meeting by himself, no one present. So he sued everybody and claimed it was racist, they were white supremacists, and all this nonsense. And Judge Bills threw that case out today. Mr. Johnson didn't have standing, and he didn't have any grounds for this ridiculous lawsuit that he brought against the members of the rest of the Soil and Conservation Committee. So I'm glad to see that Judge Bills has stood up and and threw out a frivolous suit. And it was defamation of these guys here, and she'd asked for him to quit saying certain things. We'll see if he does. No, don't have confidence in him doing that. I put the guy, and he's a little bit radical. So we'll see what happens with all that as that goes on. I think that we've got to stand up against politicians, and sometimes office, then we don't put them back in. Even if they are in these minor roles on these boards that we elect, like the stormwater conservation. Sometimes people aren't stable enough to serve on the board, and as elected, we find this out, and then next time they run, we don't put them back on those boards. I didn't want to come on long tonight. I just wanted to talk about a couple of things. Wanted to just tell everybody, that I've enjoyed doing the show. We've got some good things planned for the next few weeks. Some stories we're working on behind the scenes now, and those stories, we get all the details come into place, and we'll have some shows that I think it'll go longer than the 20, 30 minute. We'll have some 40, 50-minute shows, and I think that you guys are going to enjoy some of these things, and I think you're also going to enjoy when we start the show back and start having the political candidates come on. I know you're going to like that, and I've got my guest that's going to come on. This deal is going to be my analyst that's going to be coming on the show, and I think you guys are going to enjoy and her viewpoint take on things. So I think we've got some really good things coming up here toward the end of this year and the beginning of 22. And I look forward to sharing all those things with you and bringing awareness and shining the light in Rockdale County on things that are being tried to keep in the dark. So just thank each and every one of you. Let's keep shining the light, put out there what needs to be put out, and expose the corruption. Thanks again. See you next week. Signing out.